Hello and welcome to Rose Play at the Movies. As always, we are co-hosts Ori Moonrose and Sol Wildfire. And today we went to go see The Conjuring, Last Rites, which, like we were talking about a little bit before, we forgot what the title of this one was. We just knew it was the next /last quotations Conjuring movie in the timeline. So, and we also kind of missed the first 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah, it should have only been like 10 minutes unless they started it before that, because there must have been like no previews.
See, I'm thinking that too, because we got in there at 7:56 or a 56, and the movie started at 50. So we were like 6 minutes late. Like, how do you have a movie start?
Yeah, usually they have the previews during that time, but apparently not.
Yeah, apparently not this time. Or maybe we're just spoiled by our other movie theater where it takes like 30
several minutes. Yeah.
All right, but there is Wikipedia, so we do know exactly what goes on at least. So I'm not going to worry about timelines of 60s, 70s. This takes place in the 1960s base, or maybe it isn't the 60s. Maybe it's the 80s? I think it was 80s because I think it was 1986 and I said I was a year old. So yeah, but the beginning of the movie took place in the 60s since that was their first exorcism or encounter, which involves a mirror and her being pregnant and her daughter Judy. So basically, the mirror pops up later, which for us, we were just like, oh, that mirror is going to be evil. And it was already...
yeah, we would have already known if we would have saw it.
Yep. But a family, I don't know how the family gets the mirror. And they don't really say, they say a garage sale or something.
Yeah, they bought it off somebody, yeah.
But they don't show the mirror going there, et cetera, et cetera. But a grandfather buys it for his granddaughter. And weird things start to happen right at the beginning. Technical difficulty, guys. We have a sleeping man in this car, so we're just gonna let it slide. Hi, you were snoring. All right. Yeah, we're just gonna let that go. So, haha, funny moment. I'm not re-recording this again.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, mirror. Bad things start happening. The older sister doesn't like the mirror, but the younger sister agrees that she doesn't like the mirror. Okay. And so they try to trash the mirror. And, of course, we were all thinking, oh, the mirror's going to show back up in the room. I mean, we weren't too far off later on.
Right, it showed up. We just didn't know until later on.
Yeah. Or that it was even still around.
Exactly.
But so the garbage men come, they grab it, they break the mirror. And it's like, oh, crap, you're not supposed to break items because the vessels are important. And I think the one who got the gift was the one who started throwing up the mirror and blood and all that? Or was it the other sister that convinced her to?
I think it was the other sister, but
I think you're right.
I don't think it was the one that got the mirror.
But once the mirror breaks, all crap breaks completely loose.
Oh, yeah.
And so things start happening. This priest comes in. He tries to bless the place. The mirror doesn't like that. And so he unalives himself. You know, being forced to, but...
Yeah.
And then that involves Judy getting involved, which gets the Warrens involved, and they end up helping the people. And they're like, oh my God, oh yeah, no, right. The mirror shows up like we assumed, but in the attic.
Yeah.
And then the Warrens and them fight the mirror, and, you know... You end it with them basically, yay, we won, let's get married, let's have a future, this is the end of our story.
Right, a beautiful, blissful.
Yeah, it was a very nice ending. Completely agree with that. So, I mean, that's basically the story of it. So if you've ever seen, like, any other Conjuring movies, it does feel like a Conjuring movie. which obviously it should with Ed and Lorraine at least.
Oh, yeah.
But it feels like a Conjuring movie, so for me, for her, it was completely different, and we'll get her side in a second, because I feel like she's going to be the one you want to listen to more than me. But I felt like the movie was... Okay, so don't get me wrong. I still think the movie was really good. And I think anything that I'm giving it a rating as is more as trying to be analytical and critical on it, like a movie reviewer would be. But as a moviegoer, I enjoyed it. But I thought that it started off really slow, which maybe if we would have saw the 15 minutes, maybe I wouldn't have thought so.
Yeah.
Because it seems like they had a fight with the mirror or something. But it felt really slow and building up pace, trying to, reintroduce you to the characters and everything. And I kind of feel like you didn't need to reintroduce the characters. Like Ed and Lorraine, we've had them now in 6 movies? Maybe more?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah.
So I felt like they really didn't need an introduction as long as they did, but I feel like the reason why they were introductioning the way they were was because of Judy. Because the last time that I know we saw her, because I know we didn't see The Devil Made Me Do It, or The Nun 2. I don't think Nun 2 had anything to do with the Warrens, but the last time we saw her was Annabelle Comes Home.
Yeah.
So if she was still a kid around the time of The Devil Made Me Do It, it would make sense that they would want to introduce you to a more problematic and a more grown-up Judy.
Right.
So I feel like in that retrospect, that's why it was slow. But for someone who's seen most of the Conjuring movies, I was just like, yeah, I know. And even the build up. Okay, so the build up to the demons and whatnot was fun. Because it's always fun when they start off small and they get more critical mass, I guess. But, I don't know. I think maybe it's the same issue I have with Final Destination. I love Final Destination, but there's a pattern and there's a formula to it.
I love them things.
And I know you do. And don't get me wrong, I do still love them too. But it's up until they did something different with that Bloodlines... I felt like it was just the same formula over and over.
Yeah, maybe.
So I feel like that's what it was with The Conjuring. And so, even though it had a great story and whatnot, it felt reused. And even some bits with the jump scares. There were new jump scares, definitely. But there were definitely some moments where it was okay, so something's going to happen with Annabelle. Okay. Well, they didn't reuse the one where a demon comes running through you at a door.
Right.
There was a demon that walked by a door, but... But anyway, before we get to the ratings and all that, so what was your what was your thought with the storyline for The Conjuring for this one? What did you like? Was there anything you didn't like about it?
I did like the storyline quite a bit, even the slow parts for some reason. I don't really know why. I guess it's just the vibe of it all and just how it was going and the feeling of it and the the old feeling of it, of it being back in the day kind of feeling.
I noticed that too. I don't know where this would be placed, but I don't know if it was just the beginning of half of the movie or whatnot, but it felt like they were trying to film it like it was actually 1980s.
Yeah, and I love that.
I did too.
The vibe was really there for a lot of it.
Well, and okay, so I see where you're coming from, and I think I know what you mean by that, because I feel like, this is based more in reality. Or at least it's supposed to be. It's even if you do believe the side where people are the Warrens just made it all up and it's just a bunch of stories, you still have to ground it enough in reality to make it even possibly believable. And it being slow like that makes sense because it's reality. It's not some fantasy world or some fantasy movie like Nightmare on Elm Street. So I do get that. I do get why you probably enjoyed the slower parts and the ambiance and all that, which we'll get more into in a bit too.
Right, and I feel like there was enough to be oh, something's going on in this house, but not too much. I don't think they did it too excessively to where the story was really, really slow or anything.
Right. No, and you are right. It did feel slow. It did pick up, though, generally fast after the first 30 minutes. Although, to be fair, it was a 2-hour and 15-minute movie.
Right, and it was kind of like almost like a 2-part story until the story like kind of came together.
Yeah, there was an A plot and there was a B plot. There was whatever was going on with the mirror and its evolution of getting where it was, and then
the family.
The family basically. Yeah. Well, in that part, it's more like a 3-part or maybe a 4-part, because you also had her dealing with Annabelle. Which kind of has to do with Annabelle Comes Home.
Yeah.
And then you also had her dealing with her mom's powers or something. So there was actually a lot of subplots within this thing till they all kind of converged. Which actually, now that I think about it, also makes sense why she had also stated something made me feel like I had to come here. Well, if the mirror and her had an encounter when she was an infant inside her mom, that would make perfect sense.
Yeah, because they said that they've been waiting for her.
So. That it was always wanting her. Oh, yeah, that's another part we should talk about the story, even though it does kind of go into characters a little bit. Well, I guess delve in, because I think the ghosts at least deserve a little bit of talk for character too. But, so there's this family that the husband was a farmer. It was farmland. He murdered his wife and daughter? That
was a grandma, bro.
Okay, so wife and grandma and daughter? Grandma and wife?
I think it was his mother-in-law.
Okay, so what do we think then? It was the farmer for sure who was the husband. And his wife was cheating on him. So was it the mother, the grandmother, and the wife then?
I think it was just the wife and the grandmother.
Well, I mean, he was around, though. I mean, he was in...
Well, yeah, he was around, but I meant what he murdered.
Oh, okay, what he murdered.
Was the wife. And I know we for sure saw the grandmother, but did we even see the wife?
Wasn't the wife the one who got the axe thing in the basement?
I thought was that was the grandmother?
Maybe they're too overly possessed or dead. But so... they're supposed to be the main thing that's haunting the place. But as you find out, it's the mirror that's actually controlling them and hiding themselves behind it.
Yeah.
And that's due to the fact that, the murder wasn't a haunting until the mirror made it. So, I mean, that was an interesting subplot that was like, hey, there was at least a murder on this land. We could bring these things to evil fruition and kind of hide ourselves.
Yeah, make it seem like it's some other stuff.
Because I know at one point in the movie you had asked, you were like, I wouldn't stay in that place after. I think it was after they cleansed it, and I was like, yeah, but they weren't bothering before the mirror.
Yeah.
All right, anything else about the movie?
Not that I can think of for the storyline.
All right, so that's basically the storyline, some interesting elements to it. So we'll go ahead and give it its rating, and we'll start with you.
I gave it a 9 out of 10, because I felt like it was good for the most part. Maybe some polishing here and there, or maybe a little bit more speed, but other than that...
Right, so small polish makes sense. So I gave it a 6, and yes, I did give it low. Yes, you suck, I know.
4 points off.
4 points off, okay. But, and you were looking at some of the reviews of it, and I kind of agree where some people were going with that. Now, don't get me wrong. I wanted to give it a 5. I will say that. I wanted to give it a 5. Because I felt like everything was rehashed before, that it's nothing new that we've really seen. I mean, it was new-ish, but it was kind of the same old thing.
Yeah.
So I wanted to give it lower, but two things that really, and I'm not saying it was 0.5 for each that put it up there more, but, and again, I'm also saying that even though I'm giving it a 6, doesn't mean that a 6 is what my moviegoer side wants to give it. My moviegoer side might give it an 8. But the parts that really brought it up there for me was the boyfriend of Judy. When they were making the, and there were actually, before we get into that, there was a lot of laughs in this movie too. Yeah. Like a lot of people in our theater were laughing a lot. So they also put good comedy into a movie that was supposed to be mostly.
Yeah, I mean, there were some times where like I heard the people like jump or freak out and then laugh because their person would jump.
Probably.
Too. So some of it was probably also like, they were laughing because they got a good jump out of it or something.
I could see that. So, okay. So the reason why is, first of all, the story with Tony, where he was like, I went to this call because I was a police officer, and the guy opened up the door, and I heard a click. And then it come to find out his partner's like, you're a dead man because the gun should have went off, but for some reason it didn't. He was just extremely lucky. I like that story. It's a good story that was like, that's why I wanted to marry your daughter. I wanted to live life. I didn't want to waste any time that I had left. I get that, especially being at 40. And so I really liked the story. And then as they got towards the end, even though it's stuff that we've all seen before, because I think every Conjuring movie, they have a final fight where BS is going everywhere and they're chanting and doing their stuff. It's done differently, of course.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a formula. What are you going to do? I mean, for it to feel like a Conjuring movie, it kind of has to have that formula, though.
But I love the final confrontation with the mirror. I love how they're all sitting there and they're like, you don't belong or you don't exist, or I forgot what the daughter had said. But I like that. I like Tony almost suffocating over there. We're just like, just let the poor man breathe.
Right.
And I like that. But then afterwards, you think it's the end of the movie. They start talking about the family going back and living in there. But then you get the wedding scene. And it's the wedding scene, even though there wasn't much actual music in the movie, I do love that the wedding area really focused on the music. It was supposed to be a happy time, happy whatever conclusion. And you had not only them getting married, but you had Lorraine saying, hey, I had a dream. We had a crappy book.
Right.
I mean, there was more than that. But, you know, she's like, we're going to grow old. There's going to be kids, grandkids.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
And it was beautiful. And I think on that retrospect, if I wasn't trying to analytically go after it, I think it is a perfect end to the story that they've been doing for 6 movies. And that alone gives it a 9. I mean, that ending is just, mwah. You know, like you said, you've gotten used to the characters. You've gotten used to the people. You love to see the characters. And so I think that really brought the storyline up. And that's why I gave it a 6, though, because I do think there is a lot of problems personally wrong with it when I'm looking at it as a movie reviewer. But, like, those 2 scenes save the movie, though, for me. And I know, although with you, yours was, you loved everything, the slowness, the build-up, and whatnot. So, I mean, no matter what, it seems like the storyline's at least worth a watch, if nothing else than the endings. All right, so next we're going to go into characters. And like I said, we're not going to go through every character because, oh my God, there was way too many characters. I mean, first of all, you had the family. What was their name? The Smalls? There's 8 of them. And they really didn't get enough time. They were kind of just a means to the end.
Yeah, they were just there.
So, the only ones that I really remember is the little girl with the doll and the father. And beyond that, they're, like I said, they're a means to them. They're the family. I mean, they play, what I will say before we move into the main cast is they play a good family. Like, I like the family as a whole. But individually, I can't remember Jack from Lucy. Wait, was there a Lucy?
I don't know.
I'm seeing what they say in here. Janet. There was a Janet. There was a Cindy. That's probably close enough to Lucy. So, yeah. So, we're not really going to go over them too much. So, we'll start with... Well, no, I don't want to start with the daughter. We'll start with Vera Farmiga, who played Lorraine Warren. And, I mean... I don't know what to say about her. I mean, I know we have talked about her a little bit, I think, when we did the old reviews. But, I mean, at least what I can say is that she looks way closer to the actual Lorraine Warren.
Oh, yeah.
Than Ed does in the movie.
Oh, yeah, no. She looks a lot closer than he does.
Yeah,
sure.
She is a beautiful reproducing of him, but... I don't know. I feel like the wife played more of a bigger part than the husband, which I think she always does. But I feel like his parts were more standout. And I mean, I like her. I've always liked her. She's played a good Lorraine Warren. But like I said, I can't really go too much into her because we've done it before. Not to mention we have to go back and do the other movies at some point. So what was your thoughts on Lorraine out of, anything, I guess?
I mean, I absolutely love her. She smiles so much.
She has a nice smile.
And, like, it's, like, a really genuine, like, smile. Like, she does not look like she's faking it or, like, she's, like, trying to smile. She literally looked like she's genuinely smiling. And I just love that.
I feel like that and the
smile.
husband, actually, they do really good at making it feel like it's real.
Oh, yeah. They both do a really good job. But, yeah, for sure.
I'm guessing that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, there's not a whole lot to say because we're not starting a new movie review where it's, you know, the first of its sequel. If you've seen any other Conjuring movies, you know who she is. And the same goes with Patrick Wilson, who played Ed Warren, which, like I said, doesn't look like the actual Ed Warren,
Yeah.
but I like him. I think I feel like Patrick himself is one of those people where you just kind of like him.
Oh yeah, I feel like they're both kind of like that, and they just have a very good vibe and chemistry together.
Oh, I think they could be a good actual couple for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the only major difference this time is that Ed, I don't remember or know how much they talked about the heart conditions in the previous movies, or if it was something new that got thrown on for this one that eventually did happen. But the only new addition is that Ed now has heart problems. And the demons try to exploit that.
Right.
So, I mean, you know, I didn't want him to die, but I knew he wasn't going to die. And we'll get back. I think we'll get into this with the emotions or the whatnot. But, like, yeah, like, I wish I feared for his life more than what I could have. And maybe that's what also brought the storyline down a little bit for me. Because, like, you knew they weren't going to die.
Right.
And when you go to see, like, a horror movie, you want to feel like, and I know it wasn't a horror movie, this is more like a psychological something, horror maybe. What I guess it is called horror. I still feel it's more psychological. But when you go to see a movie, you want everybody to be a possibility for dying. Like, Cabin in the Woods is a good example of that, where you don't know who's going to survive and who's not.
Yeah. I mean, I do like that about them, but also, you know, if you know this is based off the true story and they're trying to go with the true story, then you already know these people didn't die.
Yeah. Well, unless you've never done any research or heard about them, which I'm sure some people.
Well, yeah, but still.
Okay, so the important two characters. Well, no, we'll do them next. I want to talk about the priest, the father, just for a few, because that's how long he was in the movie, basically. I don't know. I don't remember what his name is. And apparently they don't care to, you know, give him a name.
Yeah, no, I mean, he was called Father.
Yeah, Father something. But he was played by Steve Coulter, and he's the priest who unalives himself. And he also worked with them as he was at the barbecue. Like they did at least portray him enough to where you're like, he's kind of a side main character.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he was an old man. I thought he was very sweet, just like they said in his eulogy. I was sad to see him die the way he did. But, like, his scene was really messed up.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And so, I mean, I like the father. I mean, again, there's not too much to say about him because he was more of a side. But I'd say I wish he would have, like, at least made it a little bit further into the movie.
Yeah. I mean, I was okay either way, but...
So, okay, yeah, I'm going to ask because, again, he was very short. But so first we had Mia Tomlinson. Ooh, that last name sounds very familiar. She played Judy. She was the daughter. I think we might have seen her in previous Conjurings. Not Mia. She might have been played by...
A lot of mirrors.
Yeah, there was a lot of mirrors. But because also, like... Because the mirror had more to do with her than we knew, because, again, we missed the first 15 minutes. Like, when the mirror started messing with her and was up in the attic, we had no idea what was going on. So, I mean, again, missing that first 15 minutes. It's as bad as when we missed Jurassic World.
Well, it shouldn't have been 15 minutes. It should have been more like 10 if they started it early.
Not even that. Should have been like 5 or 6, but...
Yeah, I mean, it might have if they started it right at 50 and they started the previews before it to get it to play at 50.
Yeah. But other than that, I thought she was a strong character. I definitely got that vibe that she felt like a mix between her father and her mother.
Mm.
So is there anything else you'd like to add about Judy or moments that you remember from the...
I mean, I thought she definitely was a very believable, like, daughter of her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I felt like she was a very strong character and had a lot of emotions and the same sort of feel as the mother did.
Right.
So, I mean, I really enjoyed her character.
I did too. But I think, and this might just be me, I think the breakout star of the movie was obviously Tony. As Ben, who was played by Ben Hardy. Like, I don't know what it was about that character, but, like, even when we first were introduced to him, it was like, I want your mother and father to like me. And she's like, Mom loves you. Wait, you mean your dad hates me?
I know, like, and usually, like, they're more just side characters, like the person's boyfriend or girlfriend's kind of just like a side character, but he kind of became one of the main characters.
Which makes sense because, in real life, he does actually marry her, and he did help own the place after Lorraine died, I believe. I'd have to look into it to be 100% sure. But yeah, like, he was amazing. Like, I felt like he got the best scenes and the best lines for the most part. Because you had that one, you had the ping pong where he takes off the jacket and Ed's like, oh, you gotta take off your jacket now. Is that what's wrong? And then the egg scene or the waffle scene, or no, pancake.
Yeah.
Do you always make pancakes?
And he just looks at him like with a serious face too, like he was like, "Are you kidding me?" And then like, cause like his face was like, "Are you really asking me that question?" But then he ended up saying the waffles
with a smile.
Sometimes it's waffles. Like he acted like he was all tough and serious, and then came with a joke.
And then, of course, that was the scene too where he talked about the gun shooting mishap. And then at the end, towards the end, when he's trying to break into that house, every which way, he basically saves Lorraine.
Yeah.
And he's driving that car, and I still say he should have hit the whatever the hell, mother or I don't know. Maybe they both just looked alike. I don't know. But I would have just hit the dumb broad.
Yeah, no, I get confused too because literally all I can recall is that older looking woman and that dude who's the husband.
Yeah, the dude definitely. And so, and then he's getting crushed by the mirror, and then the wedding, he's not too important other than he's there and dancing with her. Right. But personally, I think he was my favorite character. I think he was the standout character. So, I mean, anything you want to add about him? Any part of it?
I really liked him quite a bit, too. I felt like, I don't know why, but I feel like Judy was my favorite.
I could see that.
I would say, like, Ed and Lorraine, but, like, we've known them before, so I feel like they're not as standoutish because we've already known them. You know what I mean? So I feel like the other new characters, like, have to stand out a little bit more because they're like, oh, it's a new character.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, after I don't want to say fully 6 movies, because I don't remember how much of the Conjurings had Ed and Lorraine, because I know, like, Annabelle Comes Home, like, they were in it sparsely from what I slightly remember, because it was focusing on the house and the babysitter that was there and the daughter, but yeah, no, I do agree that it was both.
Is he canceling it?
He canceled, but oh no, he didn't cancel. Okay, so I'm having a lot of issues tonight, apparently. But so as breakout characters, I do feel like him and her did stand out. Obviously, like you said, you felt like she was a lot better. And I mean, I think together they worked well. I think they did as great chemistry as Ed and Lorraine did. But yeah, for me, it was definitely him. But I mean, at least if you're looking for new characters, they're like, the movie's definitely good on characters. I liked characters. All right, so let's go ahead and get to the rating of that. Oh, wait, nope. I forgot about the ghost quickly, which we talked about just like, I don't know who they were. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think it's going to actually say it. But so, yeah, there was three spirits. There was what we thought was a hillbilly. And he turned out to be a farmer. And then supposedly a wife and a grandmother. We talked about a little bit that the farmer reminded us of the Joker.
Yeah, I mean, him and the old woman were like the standout ones. I don't even know what the wife, I don't even know what all the
that's what I was just going to say. Like, so like the guy definitely stands out. He had a strong presence for the few amount seen. So I like the ghosts. I like when they explain the ghost. I like when they explain the mirror. I like the entities in general. But like, even though the guy stood out, I don't know if the mother or the wife or the grandmother or the mother stood out more, because either we never saw one of them or the mother and the wife or whatever looked exactly the same.
Yeah, because I couldn't tell where I was just like, I was just like, okay, it's an old woman.
Yeah, like there's a woman and a guy. That's all But so the haunting people were all right too. I definitely don't think they're as stand out as like the crooked man and even the wedding dress one. Like, I remember a lot from Annabelle, and of course obviously the nun.
Yeah.
And Annabelle, but for what they were there for, they played a good part because it was supposed to be the mirror that was the important entity in the place.
Yeah.
All right, so now let's get to the character. So we'll go and start with you. What did you rate it for the characters, as to why?
I rated it a 9 out of 10. Because I felt like there were so many solid characters and enjoyable characters in the movie, and they were funny, and they like had smart, clever comments and stuff like that, and they all really worked well together. Like, their vibe was just so like realistic and believable. The reason it didn't get a 10 is probably because of the family itself.
Right.
Because of the fact that I did believe they were a family, but I didn't feel the closeness that could have been there. I felt like there was a little bit of closeness missing at all.
See, I think I'm close to you with that. I gave it an 8. But I completely agree with you. The family seems lackluster. I mean, they played an important part, but they didn't. And I also think that when they were having the birthday party, I mean, yeah, I made a joke about porn guy, but like the characters there didn't really stand out for the small amount of time. Like, this was people who helped them out in previous cases, and you would have felt that they should have stand out a little bit more. And at the wedding too. At the wedding, I think that most of the people that they're showing off is the people that they've saved from the movies that they've done previously for quick cameos.
Yeah.
And I mean, sure, I think I recognize them, but at the same time, it's like the movies didn't... I don't remember because it's been years and years too. Like, as each movie's come out, you're not going to remember the family fully from the first one.
Yeah, like, it would have been nice, like, if it would have, like, went to each and every one and then had like a little flash or vision.
Oh yeah, like a flash
of
kind of like Saw.
Yeah.
Yeah, and see, so I think that's why I gave it a little lower, was the 8 out of 10. It's just every other character outside of basically the 4 characters, maybe the priest, and I guess the mirror. Everybody else was just not needed.
Yeah.
And like, you're building a world. You built a world for, we'll say, 6 movies. I don't know if that's correct. You build a movie for 6 characters, and none of them felt important outside of the Warrens. And I get it because it's a true story and whatnot. But again, like, if you had a cameraman, right? Like, you'd think the camera would be more prominent to remember. So, yeah, I gave it a little lower for that reason myself. And that, I guess my 8 is probably just due to the fact that I'm also thinking of the barbecue and the wedding. But, yeah, no, for the most part, the family, they're important enough, but they're not important to remember. They really don't give them any standout moments other than maybe the little girl and the father, like I said, because the father was complaining about, it'll be all right, and then he gets the ghost strangle, and then the little girl with the baby doll.
Yeah.
Like those, that's the only, and even then, the little girl was only a stand moment because the doll was creepy, like you said.
Yeah.
And, the doll gets picked up, you see the image quickly, and it's supposed to scare you. All right, so next, music and sound effects. Or ambiance, or whatever you want to call it. So, I mean, there was a few musical in there, which I know I forgot. I think, was it Jaws? It might have been Jaws. Yeah, it was Jaws, where you had said if they would have added just a little bit more music to it. And, I mean, I know there was music to it. I know some of it was from the 80s and whatnot, and I'm not saying the music didn't do well, but I feel like almost all the music other than the wedding part, for me, I feel like it was overshadowed by all the sound effects and the ambiance and all the, noises they were making. And that's fine. Because, I mean, if it's doing that, then you're doing something right. If you remember, I mean, even though it was the end of the credits, that whatever it was.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I liked the music, but I don't remember much of it. I remember the sound effects and the noises and the ambiance. I remember everything more than the music, other than the end, personally. So how about you with the music and the sound effects? What did you like, didn't like? How did it make you feel?
I mean, I feel like the music aspects were instrumental, if anything, when there was
True
music in there. Like, like the or whatever, like all them creepy sounds and stuff.
Yeah.
That were kind of instrumental in ways and stuff. I felt like the music and sound effects were really, really good. But I've always felt like they were in Conjuring movies, that they had the great, that they had good, what is it? I don't know if it's pitches. Like, they had the right amount of sound, basically, and
Well, yeah, because some of the sounds are creepy. Because in Annabelle Creation, though we were in a movie theater and the noise were louder, you jumped at a chair.
Yeah, they do. They have like the right amount of tone and the it's like, I'm trying to think of the word for it.
Right. Well, I mean ambiance for one, but I don't know if that's the exact word you're.
It's like goes with like pitch and tune. Like there's like certain sounds that give off. What happened?
Oh, nothing. I'm looking it up while you talk about it.
Is it pitch?
It might be pitch and tone word for a movie vibe. See if they say anything about it. For a tense or suspenseful vibe, pitch words, tone words. Oh, wait, no. Gritty, unsettling, gripping, claustrophobic, ominous.
Pitch words.
Yeah, like words that are for the pitch, words that are for the tone, for a tense, suspenseful, or dark or dramatic. So, like for the pitch, it'd be gritty, unsettling, gripping, claustrophobic, ominous. Tone would be like sinister, dreadful, anxious. Which I will say that I definitely think that it is very anxious, sinister type, gritty, unsettling, ominous, and maybe sometimes makes you feel claustrophobic.
I don't know what all that is. But I know it's like a certain like sound wave, basically.
Right.
Like a certain sound wave that gets people to feel like the ominous feeling, and the hair standing up, and the chills down your spine, and I even had them like on my head.
I guess like spine tingling.
Yeah.
No, I will agree with you. Like one thing that The Conjuring does do good is it builds up the moment with the sounds. And the ambiance is what I'm going to call it. It builds it up really nicely so that when something happens, even if you are aware or expecting it, because, again, it follows a formula, so you kind of do expect a lot of it. Sometimes it still at least gives you that spine tingle or hair raising nonetheless, just because they do it so well.
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely feel like all the sounds fit what was going on to make it feel the way it felt.
Yeah. No. I get you 100% with that, and I 100% agree with that. All right. So, I mean, is that all we got for the music and sound effects?
Yeah.
I'll just add, if you've seen one Conjuring movie, it's basically the same feel through all of them. So if you like those ones, you're going to like this. If you didn't like them, you're probably not still going to like them. So what did you rate it for the sound effects and the music?
I rated it a 10 out of 10, but it might be like that for all the Conjurings just because I feel like they're always spot on with the sounds to give those sort of suspenseful and thrilling feelings.
Right, and since you've also jumped at some of them, and like you don't like nuns, at least the demonic looking nun type things, I could see why you'd give it a higher one. I gave it a 7. And if we were going by sound effects alone and the ambiance music, then I would probably give it a 9 or a 10 myself. But, like, I just felt like the music was and that's where it's a 7 is. I feel like the music was overshadowed by the sound effects and whatnot. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. But I want to remember the scene itself. I want to remember the instrumental that was causing the anxiety. And then the sound effects, which was making me suspenseful. And all I remember mostly is just the sound effects, which, again, are really, really good.
I mean, I feel like the instrumental kind of goes with the sound effects, honestly. On these types of movies, like, the instrumental gets blended in with sound effects.
Right.
Like, they kind of get used together in a way.
I get that.
To both, like, give off feelings. Like, you got creak sounds, and then you get, like, some ominous, like, instrumental or something.
See, I think what I'm thinking of is, like, with Jason is a good example. You know, you see Jason walking towards somebody, you hear the twigs breaking and the footsteps, and you hear the cha-cha-cha-cha, cha-cha-cha, or however it goes fully.
I mean, I guess, I just feel like it's different just because, like, in this one you do hear, like, creaking and weird sounds, and then hear, like, it's not the same, like, type of sounds. Like, it's always some sort of different, like, instrumental or creepy sound that goes on.
Right. But all in all, no, I completely agree why you gave it a 10 out of 10. Because The Conjuring does do really good at those moments. Just, for me, it felt like it was lacking. And I don't know what it was exactly. I guess I just do like to be able to feel the blend between the two. Like, Jaws was missing. It had the good instrumental, it had the good sound effect, but it was missing music in general. But this one had the good instrumental. It had some music. It's just I felt like the sound effects were just so much more, I don't want to say thrown in your face, but they were more present.
Yeah.
And so I feel like maybe that's why I gave it a lower. I felt I only heard one more than the other, or remember more one than the other.
Yeah. I mean, the music itself, I mean, like, wasn't as, like, easy to pick up on and, like, call out, you know, like, oh, I remember this song or that song, because there was, like, no song. It was, like, all sound effects and instrumental. But I feel like in this type of movie, it would almost ruin the unsettling feeling of the movie by having a song in there.
Right. And also, too, again, it's what we talked about with the characters, as if you, and the sound, you know, if you've seen the previous Conjuring movies, you know what you're in for. If you liked it before, you're going to love it again. And if you don't, you're not.
Yeah, basically. Unless you're more in the Conjuring for the scare factor itself, and you don't care about the family or want to see all the lovey-dovey moments, because there was a lot of that.
There was in this one, but with it being the final chapter, supposedly, it makes sense.
It might be people's least favorite because it wasn't as, like, you were going into a film that was half horror and half, like, reminiscing, and this was, like, you know, the family you've beloved and invested yourself into.
Yeah, agreed.
So if it was like you were going to this one and this was your first one, you probably wouldn't care for it.
I would, if it was your first one, you might not. And it differs on, again, like you said, it depends on what type of person you were seeing the others and coming into this one. But I feel like you should have known that it was going to be a little bit more different, being that it was supposed to be the final one. And again, knowing that there is no real stakes.
Well, there's some people that will just go into a a random scary movie.
That's
you
true,
know what
too.
I mean? Even if they haven't seen the others, they're just like, oh, I feel like going into, to a scary movie, going to see something in the theaters, and they go see something,
Yeah, I get that. All right, so let's move into emotions. And again, because it was the final movie, the fact that this is a universe that's been well built around, it's not a new IP or anything. Like, I liked the emotion. Like, there were some funny moments. There was suspenseful as always. There was some horror-filled enough if you get scared easily or whatnot. But, I mean, for the most part, it's what we've said before. 6 movies. You know what you're kind of getting yourself into. But I will say that I don't know if this is my favorite or not, because I do remember Annabelle Creation, though, was a side project. So the Warrens wasn't in it, so I don't know if I want to count that. For the Conjuring itself, I think this may be my favorite Conjuring, quote, movie, because of the fact that there is a romantic side and a kind of love story and bonding moment, because of the fact that this is supposed to be the final movie. They're supposed to be tying it up and bringing it to the end. And even though I haven't seen all of the movies, let's see, I've seen 1, 2, the Annabelles, all of them, I think. The Nun one, so I haven't seen the Nun 2 or what was that one movie?
La
Llorona. That
we
one.
saw that one in the theater a while back ago.
Yeah, we did. Well, and we've seen all the Annabelles together too.
Yeah.
Except maybe the first one. That was the Conjuring, so we wouldn't have seen that one. So yeah. So we've seen Creation and Come Home. But not counting those, if you're just counting the main universe Conjuring ones, or at least the ones that have The Conjuring in its name, I think this is my favorite for multiple reasons of the emotions. One being that they you built up from the first movie to this one, so you've got that grasp of loving Ed and Lorraine, maybe loving Judy up to an extent with her younger version of herself. The fact that it's the end to a story, so there's a lot of emotions that come up there. There's a wedding. There's the process of actual life in this one, because Ed is dealing with death, or possibility of death because of his heart.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think this is my favorite Conjuring when it comes to like the emotions. Like, I definitely think it picks up a step.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of emotions.
All right, so what about you with the emotions that you saw and whatnot?
There were a lot of emotions in this, honestly. There were, like, even in the family, that you had them crying and saying, so you're just not going to believe us or not going to do anything and this and that. And there was them crying and stuff and freaking out about, like they wanted to get out of there and stay at a hotel and stuff. You could really pick up on, like, they were, their fear in it all. Besides maybe I don't know, the daughter did have a little bit of, like, scared or whatever, but I feel like, a kid at that age usually would, like, be flipping out, like, wigging out, like...
Yeah, she didn't really flip out as much when the doll rose and... she was like, I gotta tell you, it's real, it's actually real. It's not like, you listen to me, oh!
Right, like, she was, like, when she first saw it, she was, like... Not like, didn't look like she like had like the fear like went into her, so what I mean.
Well,
like,
and even just after that too, when the one of the sisters started throwing up the mirror pieces, they freaked out a little, but not the freak out I had. I would rather be freaking homeless than stay in the house. Okay, so fine. The little girl saw the thing. She probably would have wanted to been homeless than stay in the house. That's how that. But she was like you said, wasn't as bad. But the second my daughter throws up blood like that and mirror shards, I will be homeless rather than deal with whatever BS is going on in that house.
Yeah, no, that was crazy. And he must have just not believed them, or it was like, we don't have the money to go anywhere.
I think it's because nothing had happened to him, like they had said.
Nothing happened to him, and he didn't know what was going on, so he just kind of was like, oh, well, there's nothing we can do about it. But, I felt like the emotions were spot on for most of it, and And you really felt the love between, you know, Lorraine and
Ed.
Ed, yeah. I wanted to say Ed, and then I almost thought it was wrong.
It happens.
But you definitely felt the love between them and the love they had for Judy.
Yep.
And it just was like, it just brought it all to life. Like, their family was definitely like, you could really feel they were, you know, a unit.
And I do also feel like, I know Judy and Ben. I thought their love was good too, but I feel like I do feel like that Ben had a lot more emotion for Judy than Judy did for him. And maybe that's because of the fact that, you know, he had a life-death experience.
Well, yeah, that too, but I feel like she was also taken, like, off guard a lot because of what was happening to her.
That's also very true. That would definitely bring me off my game if I've got women underneath my dress.
Yeah, no, and you could feel her fear too.
Oh, yeah,
With
definitely.
the suspenseful sounds that went with everything. Like,
yeah.
You could feel, like, the fear from most of them. You could feel the love from most of them. I felt like all the emotions were really, really on par. Like, yeah, I didn't feel like any of them were going to really die, but I felt like it didn't matter to me because of all the other emotions being there and already knowing that, you know, that they're probably not going to die.
Because of true story-ish.
Yeah, because, like, you know, you just know that, you know, they're going to be safe, but that didn't matter to me.
No. I get that for the most part.
It didn't matter to me because, like, the rest of the emotions were, like, 100% there. Like, all of it was put together very, very extremely well. Like, all the emotions and vibes and them interacting with each other was, like, I felt like it was spot on.
Right. I get that. Yeah, no, 100% agreed. Like, you know, first of all, the actors who played Ed and Lorraine, they've had a lot of practice. They've had a lot of time being together. So obviously their emotions will be better and be higher. Again, the rest of them did all right too. I think the family lacked a little bit, of course, like you said. But all in all, yeah, no, the emotions were great in this, and this being the final chapter, quote.
Yeah. I mean, I felt like the family lacked, but I didn't feel like they lacked enough to take from the emotions.
Right, I get that,
Because I still felt the emotions throughout the whole thing.
No, agreed. You still at least felt it. It's just, they felt like a weaker part of it than, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so anything else to add to that section?
No.
All right, so what did you give it for emotions for a rating?
I gave it a 10.
I get that. As to why, anything that wasn't added?
No, I think I basically explained it, that everything was like spot on.
So I will give an 8. It was lower. I do completely agree with what you say. Any points that got taken off had to have been because the family, they might have been good. But compared to how the Warrens and the daughter and the boyfriend acts, it's just, their emotions feel down a notch from the rest of the movie when compared to the Warrens. And I also feel like, yes, the priest, when the priest dies, yes, you still feel the emotion and the loss, and they've known him for a long time, but they pass through the funeral like it's nothing. They do, like, when she comes in and they're like, what? You can see that they're really saddened by it. And then you get the funeral. But then because she feels the coffin and she gets the feeling or whatever, they start, like, skimming over the fact that he's dead. Like, I just feel like the emotion was off at the funeral. And I think some of that might have been due to the fact that, you know, she was getting those visions and they were all focused on her.
Yeah, I mean, that could have, but I feel like they made it, like, short and sweet, too. Like, they weren't talking about, like, any past memories with them. They weren't, like, bringing and sharing their stories with him, you know what I mean? Like, this is what happened, and he was there with us for this and that, and, like, individual experiences with the man, you know what I mean?
Right.
Where we connected to him.
I would just say it was short and sweet, like you said. I do agree. I just wish they would have at least maybe had like 30 seconds more longer of the funeral before they cut to what they cut to, just maybe hear a few people in the background cry. It just felt like it was just a means to an end. And I mean, we got to see him die. there was some emotion there. Like, you were like, what does he do? Oh, no.
Yeah, no.
So I feel like they didn't have to add too much more, but like an extra 30 seconds before the funeral scene started, and maybe you hear just a few of the background people crying up a little bit, or maybe you see a tear fall from one of them. I just felt like it was a means to an end, and so I think that brought down the emotion just a little bit. And so that's why mine's an 8 out of 10, but all in all, no, the emotions in that is very, very strong.
Yeah.
Right, so that means that when we add up all our scores, you gave it a 95, right?
Yeah.
And I gave it a 72.5. That is a big difference in a shift. That is a C- to an A.
Yeah.
So, okay, so 72 and 95. Let's round it up to 75, so that's a 20% difference. Why don't we give it a solid B?
What was that? What's yours?
Mine is 72.5 and yours is 95. I feel like the median between that is 20.
95. Hold on a second.
So an 83, so I wasn't too far off.
If you do it by 200, since my 100 and your 100.
Right, that makes sense. That makes sense. So it says that together we should have given it an 83.75, so we'll say 84. But like I said, I was going to give it an 85, which would be a strong B. I think strong B, yeah. So, I mean, it's a good movie. It might be something that's old in the sense of you've seen it multiple times and whatnot. So it might be a movie, because I know ratings-wise, it is doing quite low-ish. What was it? It was like a 75, I think they were giving it for the audience side.
It was a 79 for audience and a 57 for the Rotten Tomato.
Yeah, so Rotten Tomatoes are really like, okay, we've seen this crap before like 800 times. It's over.
Yeah.
It's nothing new. If you've seen the first one, you've seen them all.
Yeah.
And the audience is kind of, like you said, mixed, but I think that's true with any movie in the long run. Even when it's a 40%, you still got those 60% who are like, oh, it was great, or it was bad, or...
Yeah, you always got those fans and the people who are like, it's nothing.
Yep.
Kind of
So,
thing.
I mean, all in all, I will say, I think for the most part, it did all right. A strong B is not bad. That's still a movie worth seeing. It's like I said, if you enjoyed the Conjuring movies and you didn't start getting sick of them, halfway through the series, and that includes La Llorona, who, by the way, I think did get the worst reviews.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know either, but I feel like I remember it getting the worst. So, I mean, if you get through all that and whatnot, I feel like if you weren't getting sick and tired of the formula or the series, then I think you'll enjoy it. And if you are getting sick and tired of it, I think at least sticking around to the end, I think will at least make the movie viable. It's like I said, an ending can really save a movie, and them ending it with the sweetness and whatnot, I think is a nice finale. So yeah, I think in all a solid B. I would say go out and see it. And if you're not a big fan of the movies, but you do enjoy watching them, wait for it to come to a streaming service. Probably Paramount in this case.
Yeah.
So it got a B. That's not bad at all. So, any closing thoughts on the Conjuring universe? Whether it be past to the present, the future, if any?
I don't know. I mean, I'm always up for new movies. I really don't I'm not the type of person that's like, oh, well, this one flopped, so I don't want any more of them, or something like that. Or like, oh, well, it's getting old. I'm not that kind of person. I'm like, just keep making more. I don't even care how many you make. I'll go see them all kind of person, So if we're going to make some more, I'd go see them.
So what I will say is that I think it's a nice end to the series. I think they could do sequels. We talked about it a little bit. I think although anything in the future would be completely fictional, because I don't think Judy and him ever had any actual, I think they just watched the place.
Yeah, and if they wanted to keep it true, they probably...
Well, I mean, sometimes they do take a true movie, though, and by the second sequel, it's completely fabricated. We've seen that plenty of times.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they could really do something different with the future Conjurings, though it might feel unrealistic compared to the previous ones, but call it like a phase 2, like Marvel with its phases.
Well, yeah, but couldn't they always do a prequel or anything?
I mean, even though they said it was the final Conjuring movie, they could, like, for instance, the Amityville was part of them, but they never used the Warrens. They just used the story. They could actually go back and do the Conjuring Amityville and stuff.
Or we could get a Crooked Man, which we should have got.
We should have got a Crooked Man. Yeah, and that's true, too. You could do spin-offs. It doesn't have to have anything to do with the Warrens. The First Nun didn't.
Yeah.
The First Nun was basically just her history of how she got to where she was at. So I think you could definitely either continue by having Judy and him do their own adventures, although it would be fake, and I'd still be okay with it as long as it was good and they. But if that didn't work, yeah, do the spin-offs of other things. We saw plenty of them in Annabelle Comes Home. Or remake the Amityville and just be like, it's got to be better the third time around.
All right, just keep remaking all them things.
Yeah, so, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing some more prequels, but I wouldn't mind seeing, like, a phase 2 where now we're doing fictional stuff. Like, do a Conjuring where they actually deal with the Crooked Man.
Right.
There you go. Have Judy and him take on the Crooked Man.
Right.
Beautiful. But, yeah, no, for the most part, I think when you look at the first Conjuring all the way through what it's done, I think it's been a nice universe. If they do leave it here and don't do any more, I think it's a nice ending. I think it's a nice movie series at that point. And you're not eventually going to butcher the movie series like a lot of people felt like with Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street.
Right.
And if you don't, then good way to end it. So we will go ahead and leave it here. I will say that we were going to go see The Toxic Avenger originally, but unfortunately that flopped for reasons due to it not really being out in theaters like it was supposed to. We were going to go see The Roses. That might not happen, or it probably won't happen. So I don't know what movie is going to be next for certain, but we do have a few movies left. Mortal Kombat 2's out of the way until next May. But all in all, we'll be back with another movie review, I think, within a week or two. So until then, remember, wrong ending. Nice. Keep watching, or keep enjoying movies. Enjoy watching what you can. I still gotta come up with a better ending to this.
Keep gaming.
Yeah, keep gaming. And, yeah, again, when something too bad starts to happen, I will be homeless before I stay in a haunted house.